what I'm saying, I wish none of them show up, is they all represent the MPP.
Okay.
And the MPP hasn't done as good.
Okay.
And I'm actually in support of a change of government.
Okay.
And so whatever they're doing on the other side, for me, is inconsequential.
Okay.
Because ex-President Mahama is going to come back again. And a lot of the errors that have happened under this government will be corrected.
Okay.
However, since it's a multi-party state and we are going to have different parties represented on a ballot box, MPP choosing somebody to represent them, it's inevitable.
Okay.
And of the four, I would do perhaps a Kennedy for some reasons.
No, okay.
Yeah, I'll do a Kennedy
for some reasons.
Yeah, rather than Bawumia.
Okay.
Yes, Kennedy comes with outright weaknesses here and there, and if I juxtapose that with Bawumia, I'll go with Kennedy instead of Bawumia.
Really?
Yeah. Yeah.
So if you and this is the point that Nancy made very carefully. Says if you go into your room, you do a reflection. You reflect carefully on the challenges we have that we are just about to talk about. You think that Kennedy Agyapong has what it takes to solve this problem.
Right. So the 2016 election was won by the MPP. Okay. I can say greatly on the back of Bawumia's messianic statements on the economy and the way we had faith in him being able to do what he was saying.
Okay.
Time has proven everything, and he's unable to do anything about the economy. And so for me, he coming to tell us he wants to be president again, I think is mere achievement of his personal ambitions to have been able to tick the box that I have been president of the Republic of Ghana. Okay. Kennedy, on the other side, hasn't put his hand to the mill. And that makes me feel he's worth giving a chance.
But Dynamo is also there. He hasn't put his
so I'm not really knowledgeable of a Dynamo, unfortunately. And so between the two, I'm making my choice.
I see. Interesting. So it's more of a rejection of Dr. Bawumia, not
outright.
I see.
Outright. And if you ask me personally, I didn't even expect Dr. Bawumia to
even be in the race.
Yeah, to put up himself for election for the respect of the people. Yeah, for respect of the people of Ghana and what we have seen over the past 8 years. I think it's, in my opinion, is the wrong thing for him putting himself for elections
to even.
Yeah.
I see. And of course, you talk about the economy and some of the promises he made.
Yes.
Okay. Beauty. Bernard Oduro has joined us in studio. Bernard, good morning.
Good morning.
How are you doing?
Great.
Okay. Nice to see you this morning.
Sure.
So I'll ask him the same question I ask you. There are four faces. So there's VIP Bawumia, there's Kennedy Agyapong, then you have, of course, Dr. Efri Akoto,
right.
And then you have a Dynamo. Four faces. Then people have to make a choice between the four, whether they like it or not. Those are the faces that they have to choose between. Which of them is much more tolerable?
Good morning to your viewers and your listeners. And good morning to my good friend. Sure. I met him once at NIB, right?
Yes, sure.
And we established contact, and I'm happy meeting him here today.
Okay.
He's a solid guy by all standard.
Thank you.
So, Sena, since 1992, and if you take the historical antecedent of the MPP, it's been renamed 19 times since 1863.
Okay.
So the MPP has gone through several metamorphoses.
Okay.
And that is the first time they are putting off weakest candidates.
Really?
Weakest. Take it from UGCC, NLM, PFP, PP, down the lane to Northern People's Party to New Patriotic Party. At any material moment, the MPP had solid presidential aspirants.
Okay.
But historically, that is the first time they are putting on weakest candidates.
These candidates are
weak. They are weakest. If you line all of them up, they're the weakest in the history of the MPP.
What makes them weak?
If you take 98, I was young, but I read political science. If you put off Kofo, even at that time, Alan Chamantin wanted to contest in 1998. And there was a gentleman agreement between Alan Chamantin and Kofo to back up to support Kofo.
Okay.
J.H. Mensah was also in there. Take 2010, 2014. You could see Nanado alongside Alan Chamantin.
Yeah.
But put off these four superdelegate products. Adenimo, Ken is a loose cannon by all standard. You see, in 2016, I got a chance to be in US for a fellowship program.
Okay.
Then Donald Trump surfaced. In my fellowship university, I was the only one who supported Donald Trump.
Okay.
Because he was speaking the language people wanted to hear. But not necessarily he could do anything better. Though economically, Trump did better, done better than Biden, comparatively. However, the mess he created hunted him. So, Ken is the Trump type.
Okay.
He will say the things you want to hear, but he doesn't mean it.
Oh.
Yes, and politics is about perception. A certain negative perception being formed in his favor. That Ken is truthful, Ken is a freedom fighter. He fights for no one but himself.
That's true.
I listened to your colleague,
Yeah, that's Nancy.
Nancy, and she was very spot on and emphatic. Anytime you hear Ken speak, it favors him. And it's not as if he's fighting for the masses.
Okay.
Go to his constituency, one of the poorest in Ghana. If you want us to justify your ability to be a good president, what did you do as an MP in 20 years? By now, if Ghana were serious, we'll go back to his constituency and do a documentary. And pick it from when the Assin was one constituency. Talk of the North and the Central all put together. What did he do there? It is not about empowering few people to be richer and socially people are not empowered. So let's go back to his constituency. Infrastructure-wise, what did he do? Okay. Roads, electricity, water as an MP for 20 solid years. And I hear people say Ken doesn't hold a point. And it's a blatant lie. Ghana Gas is the board chairman. Do you know the influence of that position on the economy? A whole gas sector, he's the board chairperson. That is superior to a minister in my candid view. Few days ago, we had power outages. And it was associated with gas issue. So if Ken is the board chairperson of that organization, he's blamable. Talk of parliament. He's the chairperson for interior and defense. Just few days ago, Garu Timpani, the Lana beating people. He should be sheltered for that. He's vicariously liable for some of these infractions. But hey, he's the person, he gets the microphone, say the things you want to hear. And you fall in love with him.
Okay.
For Dr. Bomel, the least said about him, the better. You know, if you want to diagnose him, we won't go today.
We will not go to our topic.
Yeah, we will not go to our topic, so we'll leave him to be like that.
Yeah.
You know, then I come to Adenimo. His own backyard mampong. They couldn't even hold elections. His constituency where he emanated from, his backyard. They could not even unite to hold elections at his constituency, his backyard, his home. Mampong constituency. So can you trust that person to lead this country? And who else again?
There's Dr. Friakoto.
I mean, let's be serious in this country. He was given the whole agricultural sector. What did he do? What was he able to transform? When I hear that man talk about he want to transform Ghana, I say, hey, Ghana, we are
using
serious.
agric as the bedrock.
Yes, you see, I want to assess what he can do, but what he has done.
Okay.
And at that, we can even say, if you want to transform Ghana through agriculture, and you were the minister of agriculture, what transformation have you seen so far?
I don't want to even assess his policies, his personality, and why let me assess him by his record in the past.
Okay.
You were given plan for food and job was etc. Look at food insecurity. It got to a point he took over the job of cream mothers of the market, assembling plantain and yam vegetables at the ministry. He's a joking candidate. So that's why I'm saying that per the history, political science I did, and analyzing the tradition and the history of the NPP, since 1863, when they have changed themselves out to now new Patriotic Party, this is the weakest candidate they are putting forth ever. But elections can be won on several fronts.
Okay.
And the danger with Ken is that if Ken wins NDC, we should set up. Let me say this here clear and loud. And nobody should take him for granted. He may be the Trump-like of Ghana. Trump came into the scene in 2016. People laugh at him. People ridicule him. In my area, Virginia Commonwealth University, about 50 fellows, I was the only person said that Trump was going to win. I attended his Congress rally in Pennsylvania, and I said Trump will win. You know why? When he is on the podium in his speech, you could see that people were touched. He was speaking their heart and their minds. Same out this Kennedy Japan. He said, oh, when I travel over the country, I went to the 5 northern regions, I'll use agriculture to transform the country. 4 months ago, he said that anybody who goes into agriculture is foolish. I mean, can you just oppose the two? There's a candidate who says that if you go into agriculture, you are foolish. 5 months later, he says that he will use the same foolishness to transform the country, and you are believing it.
So this is why I interject. I chose Kennedy for very strategic reasons.
Okay.
Because of where I sit and where I stand.
Okay.
For political expediency,
I support you.
I will desist from elucidating why I choose Kennedy over Bawumia. Both candidates, like he's saying, in fact, I'm not considering the other two, not because they are weak, but because not because they are irrelevant, but because I am not as knowledgeable of them as I know of Bawumia. And
you don't know Afriakoto?
I know, but what I mean is the kind of I know him in a Greek, and I've done some background check, but I'm not really going to speak about them. Kennedy, in fact, let me not speak because of what I know. Yeah, let me not speak because I'm actually in this elections they are going. I'm going for Kennedy for very, very strategic reasons. I can say that off air, but not on air. Yeah. So all the things you are saying, I agree with you.
Agree with him,
and it holds water. It will stand the test of time any day, any time. But I would still not do a Bawumia, and I'll do a Kennedy for very good reasons, which I'll tell you later.
But for me, I corroborate his position.
Okay.
That his choice is Ken, and I am afraid if Ken wins for the NDC.
Yeah.
So I'm supporting his position that we may throw off Ken, that he's a loose talker, he's a loose cannon, but he's a winning machinery.
Yeah.
We must get a difference. You see, Ghana, we have few elites, middle class, and the grassroots. Yeah. Ken appeal to the grassroots more, and that's the voting population.
Yes, but you see, when it comes to electioneering, the kind of machinery that supports a candidate to win, it's also of significant influence.
Okay.
And I am putting all of that, and I'm telling you for free that you might want to consider a Ken from where you're sitting. Actually, you might want to consider a Ken than a Bawumia, because when Bawumia,
because of the machinery behind,
you have a machinery that you may not be ready to deal with. Because you see, there is apathy in elections and in politics. Okay, so that is what I'm saying. From where I sit and my objectives of seeing ex-President Mahama coming back, I'm looking at what kind of candidate will break the kind of unity you need to fight. You understand? So if you look at the front of the NPP, I'm telling you, sit down quietly and do your reminiscing and everything. You will realize that a Bawumia kind of candidacy is going to come with all guns blazing. The government machinery, incumbency, everything. It's like Akufo-Addo sitting and standing again. And all the kind of energies they need to protect the looting, to protect all the mishaps in government, they'll be so energized. Kennedy is of a certain molding where he's not reliable. You can't even trust where he is. So the kind of confidence, vim, and vigor with which they will come and say, look, we need this election won, they will not have it. So strategically, you wouldn't want to do a Bawumia, you would like to do a Kennedy.
I see.
From where we sit.
I see.
Yeah.
Well, a quick bite.
Okay.
He's right in his estimation and understanding. Okay. But I can tell you, if Ken wins, the election dynamism will change 2024. Floating voters will come out to vote for Ken. Take it from you or leave it. I say so because of research. Global Info Analytics, if you look at the trend of their research, anytime they pair Ken and they look at the floating voter constituency, Ken get more support base. But if they use the traditional two big parties, talk of NDC, MPP, Mahama has 93% of NDC voting for him. Bawumia has around 73%, meaning that if we allow only MPP people to vote, only 73 will vote for Bawumia. If we allow only NDC people to vote in Ghana, 93% will vote for Mahama.
Okay.
But if we bring in the floating voter constituency, Ken surges.
Okay.
So the point I'm making is that even if Bawumia wins, think about it. I'll take you to history. In 1979, when there was a split of the PP, Progress Party, and we got the UNC and the Popular Front Party, what happened was that there was a dwindling in the voting base of the PP because Progress Party gave birth to PFP and UNC. At the end of the day, Sena, if you added the vote outcome of the UNC and PFP in the first round, it was more than the Le Mans Party. Okay?
So they split the vote.
It was a splittable vote. Now, Alan is gone. Alan may be as a spoiler candidate, but Alan is going to take away a certain voting constituency of the MPP. And if Ken win, Alan will come back. If Ken loses, Alan will be boldened to do movement for change. And put down today's date. If Ken wins, I'm saying it on facts, Alan is coming back to the MPP. If Ken loses, Alan will bolden his movement for change. And if possibly they treat Ken unfairly, Ken will join Alan. Take it from me.
That's fine.
Okay, thank you.
So you see the dynamics?
Yes. So there are various dynamics that are.
Yeah,
So for me,
yes.
I'm praying Bawumia wins from the NDC constituency.
Okay.
Because there's a limitation of using state machinery. There's a limitation. When you are divided in your own house, state machinery can also be polarized. Don't forget that Alan has left certain people behind to get in some information.
Okay.
So in the 2024 elections, if Ken loses and Ken ultimately maybe join Alan, you are going to be fighting two opposition people, the NDC and the Alan/Ken movement. In whichever way, I will not on any day as a member of the NDC pray for Ken to win. My prayer today, I'll fast from today till Saturday, is for Bawumia to win.
I see.
And after that, you see the campaign, some of us will prosecute for the NDC.
Thank you. Well, very interesting. Well, let me start off the discussion we're going to have about the economy with this. This is 2017. Ken Ofori-Atta, Finance Minister, first budget.
Abolish the 1% special import levy. Abolish the 17.5% VAT on financial services. Abolish the 17.5% VAT on selected imported medicines that are not produced locally. Initiate steps to remove import duties on raw materials and machinery. Initiate steps. Mr. Speaker.
Honorable members, order. The time
Mr. Speaker,
will be ample. It will soon come.
we will initiate steps
For now.
to remove import duties on raw materials and machinery for production within the context of the ECOWAS Common External Tariff Protocol. We will abolish the 70.5% of domestic airline tickets. We will abolish the 5% VAT on real estate sales. Mr. Speaker, we will abolish excise duty on petroleum. Mr. Speaker, we will reduce the special petroleum tax rate. We will reduce the special petroleum tax rate from 70.5% to 15%. Mr. Speaker, Mr. Speaker, to all of our friends in Abosokai, we would abolish duty on the importation of spare parts. Mr. Speaker.
Order.
Mr. Speaker.
Honorable members, shall we continue? Order.
Mr. Speaker. Mr. Speaker.
Order.
Mr.
Honorable
Speaker.
members, order.
Mr. Speaker, I acknowledge that these seemed impossible a few moments ago, but we shall abolish duties on importation of spare parts.
And with that, there was massive celebration at Abosokai because they said they will abolish duties on spare parts. Now go to Abosokai today. They are singing a different song. So what has changed over the period? Before we even go into what the survey and the report is saying, first of all, I'd like to take the views of David and Bernard on what has changed over this period that has brought us here. Why are we here? Because from when they came in, they were clear that there were things that they could do to lower the burden on the Ghanaian. Now the Ghanaian feels like they are crashing under the weight of an economy that they know will not hold up. So what has changed over the period? And David, I'll start with you again before I come to Bernard. David.
Right. So I started off speaking without greeting the people of Ghana. So good morning to our viewers and listeners. Yeah, and happy birthday to my better half, my wife.
Today's your wife's birthday?
Yes, very much so.
Okay.
She's a wonderful woman. She's given me 2 beautiful children, and she's a great mother and all. Right, coming to the end.
Happy birthday to her.
Yes. Happy birthday, Jifar.
You were careful not now you mentioned it.
Yeah, happy birthday to you, Jifar Deborah Agro of Makati Hill School.
Okay.
Right. So coming to what happened, I did a presentation somewhere where I was looking at, I was questioning whether the NPP, the current cohort of the NPP, whether they truly understood the property owning democracy.
Okay.
And someone who listened to me at the time felt it was a very ambitious call. And I made it because I have a very full conviction that the current crop of the NPP do not understand the property owning democracy political ideology they claim to propagate or prosecute. if you look at the proponents of the property-owning democracy, which became popular in the UK in 1923-24, thereabout, the whole idea is to empower citizens, to make people more economically free, to make people more economically liberated, give back to society. And it is actually driven by social intervention programs. So when we look at F cube from Rawlins's period, F cube, when we look at free school feeding, when we look at free uniforms, when we look at free SHS, these are the kind of social intervention programs under property-owning democracy that is supposed to make the people better off. However, when you look at the current crop of MPP leadership, and I'm talking about the Bawumia Akufo-Addo government, you can see clearly these are people who have misunderstood what it means to prosecute a property-owning democracy. And I read an article from Honorable Boakye Agyarko some time back, and he actually made it clear how people misunderstood it, and that the NDC and opposition think the property-owning democracy is about them scrambling and looting wealth, for which the NDC didn't understand. And so that is not it. But I think...
But that is what they are showing.
Exactly. But I think if Boakye Agyarko should sit back, Honorable Boakye Agyarko should sit back and look at the current government and its footprints, whatever they've done since 2017 till today, it is very clear these are people who don't even believe in property-owning democracy. Now, why do I say that? We've heard several commentators of the MPP who make very bold statements like, even those of us in the property-owning democracy, we have done more social interventionist programs than the NDC, that is a social democracy party. Now, this statement by itself and of itself suggests that this person is doing social intervention programs as a favor. It is not their DNA. It is not what they're supposed to be doing. And that they are even doing it as against the NDC, which is a social democracy program, social democracy party. Now, I think it should be Margaret Thatcher made a statement, because this property-owning democracy came out of conservative philosophy, right? So Margaret Thatcher made it clear that, look, when we talk of property-owning democracy, it is more socialist than even social democracy, because we are talking about empowering people, okay? Housing, education, healthcare. We are looking at empowering people. So the essence and the DNA of property-owning democracy is to make people own property. Now, in this sense, the definition of property is not land, cars, houses, money under bed. That is not property in the property-owning democracy definition. Property-owning democracy, property in the property-owning democracy is what the people need the most at any particular time. So there was a time in the UK where housing was a problem. At that material moment, if you do affordable housing, that is property. If education is a problem, if you say free SHS, that is property. If we are suffering, is it infant mortality, death at maternity, and you say, look here, we are going to do this, people should be able to go to hospital for free. That is property to the citizens. What I'm saying is, we are where we are today because the current government, Akufo-Addo, Bawumia, and all the leadership of the MPP as we have it now, do not have the understanding of property-owning democracy. And that is why Alan Chemantin can say this is not the MPP they formed in 1992. Majority of the breakaway party faithfuls are telling you this is not what we ask for, this is not what we are expecting, this is not it. And it is because philosophically the people have drifted. They've taken a very superficial definition, or in fact it's not even a definition, it's a very superficial cursory look of the word property-owning democracy, and they think it is for them to own. And that is why they came, they saw, and they looted. And anybody who looted, the president gave them thumbs up. I know you are going to go scot-free. Until tomorrow, nobody has gathered money for themselves and they've been asked to account for it. So we are where we are because philosophically, the people don't even know what they are doing, and they cannot even stand for what they so-called believe. And that is why the foundation stones Like we have the SK Boafos, the Alanchremantin and co. They are saying this is not what we bargained for. This is not what we stood for. This is not what we created in 1992. So we are where we are because the people are lost.
Okay.
Thank you.
They are lost.
Yes.
Okay. Beauty.
Sena, let me also start by saying good morning to my party leadership, from the Flyborough National Chairman to all branch executives. All those who are helping in the fight against this Akosombo Dam spillage, I want to commend them. Okay. The party leadership currently is in the Bono East. Ibrahim Mahama is also in the voter part of the Ghana country, helping Mepe people and its environs. I want to commend any other person supporting these votarians. Let's commend them. Good. I think that the indigents of voters need to start a hashtag called Voter Deserves Better. That is my candid view. Because if Sierra Leone, Liberia could go into such a messy situation in the past, and government could dole out millions of dollars to them, it is time for them to do same. Let me come back to the question you posed to my good friend David and situated in proper context. I have lived both political parties. I was an MPP for 13 years. I'm now in NDC for 3 years. Okay. And I can tell you on any day, the better among the two is the NDC.
Thank you very much.
Yes. And I'll give you 2 songs, anthems of both parties. Take your time and listen to the energy you see. It said, K-days may come, K-days may go, but the revolution has come to stay. Revolution has a long way to go, but has come to stay. Listen to them, PP1. We are the new patriotic party. The elephants are winning symbol. We have won to save Ghana. Just upon the 2 anthems.
The elephant is your winning symbol. You have won to save
Ghana. So everything about MPP is power.
Okay.
Listen to their anthem very well. Maybe people don't pay attention to words in song, but I do. That's why I said I've lived in MPP. I was in MPP for 13 solid years. I worked all my way out every corner. We entered every nook and cranny. At the point I was a trainer for their national youth in the whole country. And we taught them the party philosophy. So when David was mentioning the prayer, I was like, this is spot on. No, they don't understand the ideology.
Amen.
They don't. They don't. I once was traveling to Malaysia with Nana B when he was aiming to become the national youth organizer.
Okay.
So I sat in the same flight with him. I said, look, Samuel Cook has told me you want to be a national youth organizer, but most of the young people in MPP do not understand the party philosophy. When you win, I want you to start a project with the youth win to understand the party philosophy. He won power, he bought into the idea, and he took me as a trainer. He took me to all the 16 regions in Ghana. When you meet their young people and interrogate them, beyond well the party t-shirt and the colors and the elephant as their winning symbol, they don't understand what property owning democracy is. They don't. It's all about we're born into the MPP. You go to Ashanti region. For us, whether Nook or Crane, it is MPP. You go to Bono region. Buzia came from here. It is MPP. You go to Hafu region. It's MPP. Eastern region. So it's virtually about, it's an entitlement.
Okay.
Many people are in MPP because of entitlement. Not because they understand the ideology. What is the ideology? It simply means individual growth, initiative, enterprise development.
Excellent.
So let's even situate the discussion on enterprise development. That your ideology says that when you assume power, enterprise must develop.
Okay.
That is the crux of property owning democracy.
Yeah.
Now, from 2017 to date, how many businesses have they not collapsed?
More than created.
More than created. So if you're a political tradition and you say that one of your foundation root cause is enterprise development and you end up collapsing local businesses, then there's a mismatch between your ideology and the practitioner.
Okay.
Look, take NDC. I am not saying that all those 9 indigenous local universal banks were right, because one is in jail already. But Sena, will you throw away the baby with the dirty water?
And again, that is my domain. So let me even help you there. Banking is like any business. There are crests and there are troughs. Okay, ups and downs. And this, their dispensation and whatever they came to see was not the first time in the banking sector. Okay, so what he's saying is, you don't throw the baby with the water. Many other governments, okay, the Mahama government, the Mills government, the Kufuor government, the Rawlings government, all these governments have had cases and instances and circumstances where the banking sector wasn't doing well. They didn't collapse banks.
I see.
So it is a no.
Okay.
It
And
is a no.
Sena, the reason I'm delving here is that if you take economics of banking, he is a banker, former banker, and you will understand this principle. There's something called velocity of money and paradox or drift. Velocity of money says that if you throw money into the economy to the rightful place, it yields returns. Simplest it. So, anytime you have indigenous banks pregnant, they help the SME sector.
Yeah.
Indigenous banking, meaning banks owned by your local people. For example, take UT Bank, alone in less than 48 hours. Take GN Bank, as former GN Bank. You could see that areas that outside Eco Bank, Access Bank, Guarantee Trust Bank, community, they will not go, they will be there.
Yes.
If they make such a move, the implication is that it will grow the SME sector that is owned by Ghanaians. So if you willfully, I will not qualify that or say, if you willfully collapse local business as well as the banking sector, you are denying the SME sector owned by Ghanaians to grow. That is the reason why today, if you look at the government, they are suffering to raise revenue. Because you were owning GN Bank, etc. banks, contractors were taking money from these banks to execute projects awarded by the government. Contractors own banks own the government. So logical reasoning, pay contractor, let the contractor pay the banks.
Okay.
Government said that no. Rather, I will take 11 billion to revamp or to clean you up. It jumped to 14, to 17, to 21, to 25. Today, it's a whooping 31 billion.
Still counting.
Still counting. So who in his logical sense, a party that believes in property owning democracy, will collapse businesses, go and take a loan to set up one bank called Development Bank Ghana. You have 9 indigenous banks. You kill them. You take a flight to Europe, borrow money, $750 million or euro, come back to Ghana, and create a single bank that 9 bank could have done better than that bank. So, the reason why we are where we are is that the NPP have drifted from their core political ideology.
That's it.
David made a point that the NPP sees their social intervention program as a favor to Ghanaians. I see it to be as a bait.
Okay.
The NPP does better in research. And what they do is that they always want to sell what you want to buy. Let me give you a case study. If you want to buy a mobile phone, you have options. You can go to the tiptoe lane, you can go to Circle, or go to the warehouse of these mobile phone companies. You can get it cheaper when you go to Circle.
Okay.
But it can be a worse product. And that's what MPP is good at. You will see the MPP at tiptoe lane, marketing what you want to buy. So when you get off from your vehicle, you need a mobile phone to buy. Here is it. You can buy the mobile phone intact in the case, you take it to home, it could be a cassava to you.
Or soap.
Or soap. So the MPP, they've mastered the art of branding and marketing.
Okay.
So, okay, when do you want F? People want to hear. Let's sell it to them. One village, one dam. Free SHS. Ghanaians want to hear something new. And that is why I think that, let me say this clearly to the party leadership of the NDC, 2024 will be a tough elections. Because when you meet an armed robber on Saturday, he wears black. Sunday, he wears white. If you meet an armed robber on Saturday night, Sena, he's in black attire.
Okay.
Sunday morning, he's in church. The reason is that the NPP will perfect their branding strategy in 2024.
Okay.
So we must not sit down as NDC and think that it's a one battle already. No. Because they know what Ghanaians want to hear. Okay, if we brought 1D1F and it's sold, but we couldn't implement it, how do you repackage it? And today, there is a team of them, that's what they're doing now. That is why Samia Oku said that then people will win 2024 by strategy and the NDC will not understand.
Okay.
I agree with him. I do agree with him because if we are not careful, they have perfected the art of political strategy and branding. What do Ghanaians want to hear? we are in the midst of domestic exchange. We want to go for external debt exchange. Pensioners are not getting their money. There's a lot of tax hikes. In the face of all these things, what will sell in the market if we put Bawumia forward?
Okay.
So that they deviated from their core political ideology. But on any day, I don't think proper democracy as an ideology is bad.
Not at all.
No. Though I'm a member of the NDC, but the ideology in itself is not bad. Because that is the ideology that built the UK economy, the Conservatives. They use this same ideology, Margaret Thatcher, etc., to do privatization.
And in any case, it's about empowering people.
Sure. But these people don't mean what they are selling. That is why in the year 2002, the NDC originally did not have social democracy. It was a revolutionary party made of Congress, brought people together from different sets. But in the year 2002, the NDC decided to go for social democracy.
Okay.
And the social democracy is what should promote more social policies. So at times, Ghanaians are tempted to believe that the MPP is NDC. I repeat, at times, Ghanaians are tempted to believe that
The MPP
is NDC. Because the NDC is supposed to be selling those audacious social policies. Because you are saying that you're a social democrat.
Yeah, if I may.
Let me land. So if you are, then we want to wake up every morning, and when it is about the health sector, we want to hear an audacious policy that will convince us more than the MPP. In as much as I agree that in the days of Margaret Thatcher and those co-minini, if there's a problem in the health sector and you solve, it becomes a property of the society. It has a limitation. Because every private person or woman or man, his aim is to make economy rent, cause supernormal profit. So when you lead the sector into the hands of private people, they'll be thinking about profit maximization only. That is why the NDC go for social market economy philosophy, who says that put the state alongside the individual. So that when the individual is falling off, the state can give a cushion. That is why in all the days NDC was in power, we never clamped down the banking sector. So anytime the banks were going down, the state would bail it out. When the MPP came in, when the banks were showing symptoms of diarrhea and cholera in the banking sector, they said, no, let's push them down. So in my candid view, the MPP in its form now is more NDC in its operational activity. The NDC in its current form now, Ghanaians want to see the true reflection of the NDC. That is the honest truth. Why might the MPP be selling us what you should be selling us?
Okay.
Because today...
That is when it comes to sales and branding.
The sales and branding.
But not in terms of...
implementation. That is why I gave an analogy that you can buy a fake mobile phone from Circle Tiptoe Lane in the form of cassava. But you see it as a mobile phone. So the MPP will package and brand something, they don't mean it. If NDC were the party implementing free SHS, it would have been effortless. But MPP doing free SHS, you see the challenges we are going through. Because they don't mean, it's not in their DNA.
Okay.
It is like selling pork in the Islamic community.
Chai.
Are you going to get a market for it? So the MPP...
You will find people who will buy.
No, but if you want a huge market bill for a pork, you don't go to Islamic community. So the MPP is good at political branding.
Okay.
But they don't mean the product they are selling.
Sure.
We in the NDC, we may not be making the noise. But when power is given to the NDC, you will see many of the things that even you don't dream of, you see it happen. So today, going forward, I want to think that 2024 election, let's do more discussion. Let's look at the ideology. Okay. Who is faking, who is not faking. And in my candid view, the MPP is faking.
Okay. So you wanted to make a point.
Yes.
And then I'll ask a question.
Okay, so you can ask the question, then I can just
because when he was talking, he said he wanted that. So I want to hear your point.
So when he said the NDC is supposed to be doing is it the social intervention program because of the name? See, the problem
he said that the MPP is selling better what the NDC should be selling.
Sure.
That's a different from...
So we have it.
Okay.
Yes. So you have it, but you're not selling it. So they are telling the people what you are supposed to be telling in a much more audacious manner.
I think that I agree with him.
Okay.
The NDC, obviously you can see we have communication and strategy difficulties. Let me not say problem, difficulties. And most of the things, in fact, when you do an analysis of more... ex-president Mohammed's loss in 2016, it was very clear we couldn't even market the kind of things we were doing very effectively. We came out of power. The people were claiming some of the projects that we had done or haven't done, and that was when I saw people like Felix Ofosu-Kwakye speaking audaciously about the infrastructural development and the kind of interventions we've done, which means it's clear that whilst we were in power, we couldn't educate Ghanaians as to what we were doing. But that on the side, what I believe is that either ways, the essence of governance and leadership is to do some of these things.
Okay.
A party shouldn't feel like I am not supposed to be doing this, but I am doing it for you nonetheless. And therefore,
that's the language you hear.
Yes, it's a language you hear. But what I'm saying is, it shouldn't be. You see, there is a certain attitude to it. Okay, that's what he's saying. In fact, he helped me understand the whole attitude by saying they don't mean it. Okay, free SHS, which I want to go into it better when we start the conversation of the day. I can say confidently that the NDC through Mahama started free SHS. And he actually said if the NDC were to roll free SHS, it would have been effortless. Truly so, because look at the e-blocks. The concept of the e-blocks is to bring infrastructure to the neighborhood, so that if we are going to fund education for people, the burden wouldn't be so much on government. Now, the essence of rolling a policy is not to be populist and to get people to say or to give you an acclaim that, hey, we brought free SHS. It is about proper rollout. That is why we can even do policy simulation to see the effect and the impact it will have on us. But they rushed through and then got us where we are right now. The NDC would have rolled out systematically and properly, like he was saying. All I'm saying is, the NPP, I started the conversation by saying they are lost. And it's because they don't believe it. And he mentioned most of them were born into it. And when you hear property owning democracy, it is so convoluted that you can easily think it's about you owning. Social democracy and the philosophy of social democracy makes it, in fact, the word social puts it out there that it is for people. Property owning. So for anybody who doesn't dig, for example, I took time when I started the political communication. I took time to dig what property owning democracy is, because I'm not a political scientist like him. Okay, what I found and the kind of revelation like enterprise development and all, then I asked myself, these people, do they even know what they're doing? And I feel from a read up of Honorable Wache Jaku's documents, it's clear we are lost. In fact, the NPP is lost, and that is why we are where we are. But I think the NDC needs to do a very good job in the kind of communication we put out there. We shouldn't take things for granted. We shouldn't think here that people have done so bad and the Ghanaian is suffering, so it is automatic they will look our way. No. Like my very good brother BOT is saying right now, if they are planning a strategic approach to elections, we have to have all of this into our decision-making machine and find a way to counteract and match them boot for boot to be able to sell to Ghanaians the alternative to this government, which is always a better option.
Okay. I'll come back and I'll go back to the question again. I'll go back to that question again. I like the approach the two of you have used, but I'll still go back to that question again. But first, let me tell my listeners that it's a new world of doing business and your business shouldn't be left out. It's time to get a Momo for Business today to accept payment from over 50 million Momo customers. All you need is a business registration certificate and your Ghana card. Applying to be MTN Momo merchant has been made simple and fast. You just have to dial *5051# *5051# and follow the prompts or apply online at Momo Merchant Application, one word, Momo Merchant Application, one word, .mtn.com.gh. You receive a reference number which you can use to track your application. So don't get caught waiting. Enjoy secure transactions and convenient transactions for your business with MTN Momo today. Note that the application is free. Do not pay any money to anyone for a merchant payment solution. Report any fraudulent charges using the Momo app available on Play Store and App Store. Like I said, I'm going back to the question before I take a break. Now, if you read the survey, you get a clear indication of where we are currently. Okay, so there's a businessman who is saying new taxes, not a good idea. In fact, even the taxes, this one, that one, take it off. There are people who are complaining about even skilled labor is now becoming an issue because you're seeing a lot more Ghanaians with skilled labor leaving this country because what they earn is not even able to keep them through a month. So they are looking at them thinking they are putting everything in it and leaving Ghana because they are ready to raise 100,000 or 100,000 cedis to leave Ghana than stay in Ghana for whatever amount you are offering them. So I'm asking, which specific things have we done wrong that has brought the economy here? I understand the ideological perspective issue, but then that might have reflected into making certain decisions that has brought us here from being so coy in 2017 and saying, I abolish the tax. How have we gotten to the point where people are now saying, no, the taxes are too much? When you said you had abolished the taxes, which specific decisions have they made that has taken us here and that they need to change? So this time I'll come to beauty, then come to beauty.
Okay.
So where have they failed decision making wise?
Sena, I'll make my submission based on science and data.
Okay.
And there is a Ghana Revenue Authority report from 2016 to 2020.
Okay.
And it gives a catalog of every year the target the government set for itself in revenue mobilization against the actuals.
Okay.
So you have the target and that. In the year 2016, government projected to raise a revenue base of 29 billion.
Okay.
Government ended up raising 27.6 billion.
Okay.
A net difference shortfall of, let's say, 1.5 billion.
Okay.
So if you take it in percentage terms, government achieved about 95% of its tax projection for the year 2016.
Okay.
Now we go to the year 2017. Government projected to raise a tax revenue of 34.7 billion. Government raised 33.6 billion, a shortfall of 1.1 billion. That means you achieve about 97% of your target. In the year 2018 fiscal year, government projected to raise 40.3 billion as a tax revenue. Government was able to raise 39.1 billion, a shortfall of 1.2 billion. It means government achieved about 97 to 98% of its target. Then fiscal year 2019, government projected to raise 46.8 billion as a target. It raised 45.6 billion, a shortfall of 1.2 billion. Around 98% of the target was achieved. Let's come to 2020. Here it's important because of COVID-19.
Okay.
I hear government apparatchiks, government spokespersons say that, the economy was blown down, was shifted, the gear was shifted because of COVID. Sena, government targeted to raise 44.5 billion as a tax revenue. Government raised 47.4 billion. This is 2020.
So they raised more.
Excess.
In fact, it was the year within 3 years that they actually.
So I've taken my time to take you from 2016 to 2020. I intentionally did that to give a time series analysis. 2016, you couldn't meet target. 17, no target. You came to 2020, COVID year.
You exceeded your target.
You exceeded your target by excess of 2.9 billion.
3 billion.
Excess. Now let me take you to 2021. Government budgeted to raise 60.1 billion. It raised 60.6 billion. Excess.
Again.
Now let me take you to 2022.
In the year that they were crying.
Okay. Look at 2022 tax revenue. Government targeted to raise 70.5 billion. Government raised 79.3 billion.
Excess.
You ask a question, why are we where we are? So in terms of tax revenue, we don't have an issue. Because 2020, 21, 2022, government has achieved more than the target set for itself.
Okay.
So let's take this broadcasting. What is the name?
Radio
Go. But you have a parent company.
Yeah, network broadcasting company.
Okay. Now you targeted to raise 65 billion as a revenue. Then you raise 75 billion. Can you come back and complain?
No.
Then you just support that one with your expenses. In fiscal consolidation, talk about revenue and expenditure. When you raise revenue, ultimately you spend. So, per this analysis, I've been able to establish that from 2020 till 2022, tax revenue is not an issue. Because any target the government set for itself, it overachieve it.
Okay.
So therefore, tax revenue is not an issue. So why must a government that is achieving more than what is said begin to impose on people more tax components?
Okay.
That is the first question to the government. They have to answer it. If you want to use a shortfall, if you were 2016-17, I could agree because there was a shortfall. But when you go to 2020, 21, 2022, you are achieving more than your target.
Okay.
And in a fiscal consolidation, the revenue base, you can look at taxes, you can look at liabilities, penalties, royalties, loans, etc. Now, let me tell you why the shortfall. Now, because of the current economic situation, we have been injuncted from the bond market. Not through no fault of me and you, but the government.
Okay.
Don't forget that the bond market is apolitical and neutral. You don't do politics there. You can't go to the bond market and write lengthy things. The investors want return on your investment.
Okay.
So when they get to hear that you have been downgraded from, let's say, B- to default status, every investor who is rational will shift the GR from Ghana to South Africa. If South Africa is at, let's say, C+ or B-, and you are the default status, statistically and logically, you will move there.
Okay.
So the expenditure component of the government is what we need to delve into.
Okay.
You have achieved better on the revenue side. You have achieved better. 2020, 21, 2022, the records show. This is science and data from Ghana Revenue Authority.
So there's more money coming.
There's more money coming
than you
in.
even projected.
Even projected. So if you are earning more, let's look at your expenses. Look at the size of the government. Take your population, size of your GDP, and the size of your government. And I'll give you 3 case studies. Take China, take India, take UK and US. Look at it's a $1 trillion economy. And look at the ministers they have. You sit in this Aquarius or this kind of country. You are not earning, you are not doing much, but you have more ministers. I want to go for efficiency. Why do you need 4 ministers as Minister of Finance to achieve what? Why do you need 4 ministers at that ministry? You have a lot of chief directors who do the technical work. And in fact, in every ministry, those who do the legwork are not the ministers. The ministers are policy direction. But the real executioners are the directors, departmental heads. So why must a government suffering today have 2 ministers at the finance ministry? Go to local government. Go to a great ministry. So the first component is the expenses element. And if you take the NDC and the MPP, the NDC does better on CAPEX. CAPEX means capital expenditure. Now, anytime a government spend more of its revenue or GDP on capital expenditure, it opens the economy up. For example, if you are constructing Commander Sugar Factory, Terminal 3, Free Fertilizer, Cocoa Road, Pokuasi Interchange, look at the value chain.
Circle Dubai.
Now you create immediate employment, taxes are paid. But there is an economy that if you look at the NDC component of GDP to CAPEX investment and the MPP, there's a very different. In fact, they're in the negative.
Okay.
So this government is spending more on recurrent expenditure. Recurrent simply, I think that way they will not come back. For example, if you pay workers, it's not an immediate investment. They have work, you pay them. But if a government invests in road, electricity, water, etc., it will come back from Terminal 3. Whatever money the NDC administration offered to put out Terminal 3, it is paying back today. And it will continue to pay back and earn you more profit. But when you balloon staff at the Office of Government Machinery, OGM, and you are paying them, they are not contributing something immediately to the economy. Because most of them are political appointment. You cannot even quantify their contribution to the economic growth. So, Sena, the conclusion is that on the tax revenue component, we've done better from 2020 till date. Okay. There is no issue on tax revenue.
And if you add even the proceeds from the bonds,
exactly,
and then,
I don't even go
revenue
there.
And everything.
So the challenge is the expenditure component of the government.
Thank you.
And we may begin to itemize them. And for me, any government that put in more to CAPEX, I love that government. That is why people tell Mahama the nation builder. It is simply because we don't eat road, but road determine what to eat. If you see a road network, you can, but road determine what to eat. If your road network is good, your car maintenance is on the low side, everything is on the low side. Food stuff that will come from the hinterland become cheaper. When your road network is porous and bad, food stuff become expensive, car maintenance become expensive. So that was all kind of people will complain because when the road network is bad, people will come and buy spare parts, but they will complain. So the demand will be there, but the supply will be there, but the demand will not be there. So in a nutshell, revenue side, we've done better since 2020, and the data here prove that yes, we've done better. The element where we are is because of the expenditure side, where government has pumping much more in recurrent expenditure as against capital expenditure. And if the government can reverse the gear, and if you look at the UNDP and KPMG report, it is clear. People want to see infrastructure investment, putting more infrastructure, local businesses. And look, if cost of borrowing is cheaper, it expands the economy. Go to South Africa, just close to Ghana. You can take a facility at an interest rate of 2%. South Africa. Come to Ghana. He is a former banker, NS banker. Minimum 30%. So from the word go, if a young business person want to compete with a South African business person, you have a 28% negative to fight. Whilst he is taking 2% interest rate, you are taking 30% interest rate. Are we in hell? Here's where we are.
David,
Yes.
Great
Right.
one.
So
BOT's view is that if revenue is not a problem, if you are getting all the money you are looking for, but you are still broke, it means that you are not spending the money rightly. So there's a problem with expenditure that you need to address. What do you think?
Yes, I think BOT has said it all, and George Dotumo just texted me that you've spoken his mind, which is excellent. Right, so it's obvious the problem we have is taxation and over-taxation. And BOT has done a very good job giving us, he called it economic time series of revenue generated from taxation right from 2017 up to date. It is very interesting to note, and I'm going to go the other way around. And I'm quoting Winston Churchill, the former Prime Minister of Great Britain. He says, "I contend for a nation to try to tax itself into prosperity. It's like a man standing in a bucket and trying to lift himself up by the handle." I'm repeating it again because it just summarizes everything. It says, "I contend that for a nation to try to tax itself into prosperity, we are taxing ourselves into prosperity. It's like a man standing in a bucket and trying to lift himself up by the handle." That is an impossibility. If you look at the reports or the summary of figures BOT just gave us right now, we've had targets of tax revenue being exceeded consistently. What it means is whenever you say you have a tax target, you do your tax targeting as against expected expenditure. So if you have a tax target and you are able to achieve it, and then you have your discipline on the expenditure side, what it means that at worst you should have a balance of zero, because because the tax targeting is coming from somewhere, and that is your expenditure. We forecast that we are going to need this money. When we have the total of it, that means we should be able to generate this money, and that is what we give to Dr. Amishadai to help us get this money, so that on the expenditure side we'll have this money to spend here. If we have been able to achieve all of this, and we are still where we are, then it means it's obvious that the expenditure side is suffering. Why is the expenditure side suffering? We've seen the government's cost of doing government business and the excesses that come with it. That's on the side. When you decide to tax yourself into development, it is counterproductive, because at the microeconomic side, look, I heard him say you take interest rate at 30%. The current policy rate is around 30%. Previously, when the policy rate was low, averagely most banks put how much on it? They put about 15% on the policy rate. So if we were to go by historical behavior, what it means is that we should be doing borrowing rate at about 45%. Currently, it's around 37%. What it means is that the banks have on their books reduced how much they make from interest earnings. That is going to affect bottom line over there, true or false? That is going to affect bottom line over there. Now, we've had cases where expenses has gone so high, they haven't been able to manage the behavior of the city. Inflation is rising. How did they tend to solve the inflation problem? Increased interest rates. When you increase interest rate, as if to discourage expenditure and all of that, you don't get anywhere. So basically, it's about balancing the budget. Whatever you are spending, it should be what you are earning. Whatever you are earning, it should be what you are spending. This government have had an incessant behavior of having no regard to their spending behavior. And that is why we are where we are.
So the spending keeps going up.
Yes.
So the higher the expenditure that they budget, the more taxes they impose to get money to spend.
Yes, and taxing is a very lazy way of running an economy or revenue generation, because there are various ways government, in fact, I shouldn't even be saying this. They told us that it is not taxes that you use to run the country, and that there are various and other ways of getting money to run an economy. When they came, what did they do? In 2017, we had the finance minister speaking so buoyantly about abolish. I call it the abolishment budget. What did they do? They took away NDC sundry taxes. I call it sundry taxes because they were taxes that were so numerous but very minute in terms of what revenue generation. Okay, and they rightly called it nuisance because yes, it is there on the paper that it wasn't giving us much. They took it out and brought draconian taxes. One, for example, the winnings, is it gaming and lottery winnings? 2016, 2017, thereabout, when Mahama was just about leaving power, the winnings on games, the taxes on lottery winnings was 5%, pegged at 5%. 2017, they abolished it and made it. In fact, they included it in the nuisance taxes and abolished it. Fast forward 2022, 2023, they brought it back and it is 10%. So it is not like they have a belief in running an economy that is not based on taxes. And in fact, Bawumia at the time was right when he says you cannot run an economy based on taxes, because Winston Churchill just told us if you try to run an economy based on taxes, it is like you are standing in a bucket.
But you do need taxes, don't you?
You do need taxes. But you see, taxes serve purposes in an economy. Taxes help to mop out excess money, from the system. Taxes help to, as it were, regulate behavior. So we put taxes on tobacco, we put taxes on sugar, to regulate behavior so that people don't go a certain way. You cannot run a system by saying, all we are going to do is to tax the people to run the economy. When you tax the people to run the economy, you enslave the people. You enslave the people, and it affects businesses. Look at the report that came. In fact, I call this report the People's State of the Economy report. When Bawumia and the NPP come and tell us the state of the economy, what KPMG and UNDP did, which is before us right now, is the People's Economy report, because they did what? They interviewed people across various sectors, and they are saying these are the key areas of concern to us. Now, I don't know if you're going to go into that, but if you look at the policy recommendations, none of these things are things that are far-fetched. They are things that are already evident, that these are things every government that means well for the people should be looking into.
Okay, we'll talk about what needs to be done.
Okay.
But yes.
You see, if you take the NDC and the MPP, one of the cardinal values of the NDC is social justice, or equity. Taxation, in its simplicity understanding, is how you use tax to create equity. So if the NDC taxes people the more, it's understandable. Churchill, right? Margaret Thatcher, she said that taxing the people into, taxing yourself into poverty. I agree with her because she is a capitalist. And every capitalist, you don't tax a lot. You increase the productive base of your country. And the more people are producing, it will have a nosedive approach, and the state can earn through payee. Corporate taxes can be paid because corporate taxes are paid on profit. So the more buoyant the economy is, the more payee a government can get, and the more corporate tax a government can earn, and other incentive,
sources.
etc.
Okay.
So Margaret Thatcher is right because she is a typical property-owning Democrat, capitalist. So if the NPP want to sing the same song of Margaret Thatcher, why must they tax people the ball? We must allow the NDC to tax because social justice taxation is a pillar of social justice. For example,
Equity.
Somebody import Ferrari, Lamborghini, Bentley, private jet into Ghana. It will affect the ozone layer, have a climatic effect. Climate change can happen. Government says that, okay, you, Sena alone, you are going to enjoy a Ferrari. But the film that will come out of a Ferrari can cause catarrh to somebody.
The poor.
The poor. Thank you. So by virtue of that, whilst you are using your limousine and your Ferrari, pay special tax on that vehicle so that I can use that tax to build roads, to build hospitals. So if the poor people inhale your fumes and they get catarrh or sicknesses, there will be that kind of buffer for them to be cushioned.
Okay.
So we in the NDC, if we tax the people more, it is in our DNA and it is part of our philosophy. But the MPP, you are saying that you believe in business growth. And he said that, how can a man lift himself up in a bucket? It's an impossibility. So they must live by the ideology.
Okay.
Don't tax too much if you're a capitalist. Because the more taxes you take, the more businesses you collapse.
Yeah, and they're taxing so much because they've run short of ideas as to how to generate revenue.
And me, Sena, if you look at the former NDC level of tax regime, the NDC will tax you and give you a buffer.
Okay.
When we say buffer, they are the social net a government create. So in case of an economic mess, you fall back on it. So if the NDC taxes you, it gives you GIF, Ghana Investment Infrastructure Fund. So it was a tax. Government taxes you, gives you GIF. NDC will tax you and give you Exim Bank. So you are import and exporter. NDC will tax you, and when it raise that tax revenue and say that, okay, I'm using that money to put up Exim Bank for you. So if you are an importer and exporter and we are taxing you, your money is setting up a bank for you. Let's go to ESLA. Consumers of fuel, petroleum product. I am taxing you. But when I tax you, I'm giving you ESLA. So at every sinking fund. So anytime the NDC taxes people, the NDC give buffers. Anytime the MPP tax people, they give collaterals. There's a clear difference between the two. Yeah, the NDC will tax people. I won't sit here and say otherwise. When we come, we are going to tax Ghanaians. But when we tax Ghanaians, we give them economic buffers. Buffers that can cushion the economy. But when the NPP taxes people, they eat all the money, they eat the booze, they eat everything, and they use that tax element as a collateral to borrow more. That is the clear difference.
Yeah. Well, so we are back to, from BOT's perspective, the matter of ideology. So even your ideology you are not sticking to. We'll have to take a break. I have one last break to take. But our friends at Goldie Kids says I should tell you that if you want to style your kids' hair to give them that awesome and confident look, then speak to Goldie Kids Hair Salon and Playroom. Goldie Kids Hair Salon and Playroom is a specialist unisex salon for kids, including teenagers. They are into braiding, hairstyling, hair coloring, haircuts, locks, and more for children. So you choose the type, what you want to be done to your child. And nowadays, the children even choose themselves. Then just take them there. They will take care of them nicely for you. Goldie Kiss Hair Salon and Playroom is located near Parakou Estate Main Gate, Christian Village, Domain, Accra. Call them 059 600 8138. Goldie Kiss Hair Salon and Playroom is open every day from 8 a.m. to 6 p.m. except Tuesdays. And then on Sundays, they open from 1 p.m. to 6 p.m. Let Goldie Kiss Hair Salon and Playroom take care of your kids' hair needs, and they'll give them the style and confidence they deserve. Like I said, we have to take a break. We'll be back. When we come back, we'll try to talk solutions. Look at the proposals being made by the report based on the things that they were told by their respondents.
Masa, Madam, Mame Gobe 5 cedis.
No, me dafo. Ene koko sing.
Koko 3 cedis. Hey, Madam, me say 5 cedis.
Mama, we are monsieur. Ahadie, yeji bin Mete Betika. Mebusu.
Season, I said it. Because at Betika, the winning never stops. We are giving you a triple Aquaba bonus when you sign up. The biggest odds, amazing offers such as boosted odds, free bets on Mondays and Thursday, and so much more. Just go to betika.com or dial *263# on your jam phone to place your bet.
This advertisement has been vetted and approved by the Gaming Commission of Ghana. Bet responsibly, not for persons below age 18. Gaming can be addictive.
Bushia, a Juani Swadi say, Ubesi dying, a wafi mwana. And ye, Nami Kamfu Hat Builders Real Estate, Ede Amawo, Hat Builders Real Estate, a Jumekwa, one more aton tong and sassy, one sassy be a war, Shy Hills, Tropoli, and Afi, Ningo Pram Pram, and Niji Sema Wahone say, one sassy, a what Tropoli, and Ningo Pram Pram no, Yateta so at the above 15,000 Ghana cedis po, Umpewe, no pedien, for 20,000 Ghana cedis pay. Fabra, Nientre and Sasia, and that Shy Hills in the B, and Famao, Hat Builders Real Estate, one more sign so tontong, a density, any plumbing materials, BAB, one more year architectural drawing, biofuel digester, borehole drilling, roofing, Hat Builders Real Estate, Echakwine, a war, a shaman, one Mandela Parkino, and a dinche anymore, for Hat Builders, a wahumesu, 0591 599 006, and 0555 314 806. Hat Builders Real Estate, the future planners.
So the essence of my praise is centered on your grace.
My name is Diana Hamilton, VGMA Artist of the Year 2021 and brand ambassador of Awake Purified Drinking Water. I am super excited to partner with Ghana's first charity-driven water to give back to our communities. Awake is a brand that makes a difference. We impact the world around us. That is why for every bottle of Awake water you buy, an amount is donated to the National Cardiothoracic Center. Yes, every time you quench your thirst with a refreshing bottle of Awake, you're helping contribute to save lives. So keep drinking Awake Purified Drinking Water and let's continue making a difference. Awake Water, one for life, supporting the National Cardiothoracic Center. This advert is FDA approved.
Hey, Ma, the way you're always getting alerts these days, I won't be surprised to hear that you have gotten a Momo for Business account by my next visitor.
Oh, I'm already on Momo for Business, oh.
Since when?
Since. Now, it's easy to apply for a merchant SIM. All you need is a registered MTN number, your business certificate, your Ghana card, and you are good to go.
Sir,
you think you are the only one who knows WhatsApp, eh? Look, I just dialed *5051#, selected register, and the region I was requesting the SIM from, and waited for my SMS with my reference number. You can even go online at momomerchantapplication.mtn.com.gh and complete the details for an even better experience.
Hey, Grandma Momo.
Sign up for Momo for Business the easy and simple way. Just visit momomerchantapplication.mtn.com.gh or dial *5051# and follow the prompts and be on your way to owning a Momo business account today for free.
MTN.
We all go paint some Savannah Bento. We all go paint some Savannah Bento. So special Savannah Bento. Assurance Savannah Bento. Savannah Bento. Is available Savannah Bento. And nice and natural Savannah Bento. Affordable Savannah Bento. Savannah Bento, Savannah Sokoto, Savannah Bento, Nadu Bento Dawa, Insomo, Remo, Sanity, we go paint some Savannah Bento, Savannah, we go paint some Savannah Bento, we go paint some Savannah Bento.
Savannah Paint from Azar Group since 1921. We all go paint some.
And I'm still listening to the Gold Morning Conversation. You have about 10 minutes more to end the conversation with BOT. And I'm sure a lot of you are enjoying the conversation from the comments I'm reading on Facebook. But we have to wrap it up on the matter of exploring some of the solutions that are being proposed. But before we do that, Betika.com is proud to be associated with this program. And they said I should tell you that if you register with them, they'll give you a 50% free bet on Mondays and Thursdays. So today, when you bet with Betika, you get a 50% free bet. And if you're new, this is the first time, just a new registrant onto Betika, they'll give you a whooping 175% Aquaba bonus to bet on your favorite teams or play your favorite virtual and casino games when you register. Go to betika.com or dial *263# on your YAM phone to register and play. Terms and conditions apply. And that's the message from our partners at Betika. And of course, don't forget, the show is also proudly supported by Awake Purified Drinking Water. Awake Purified Drinking Water is a product of Casapreco Company Limited. Thank you very much for staying with us. I still have David Zekpah in studio. I have Bernard Oduro Takyi BOT in studio. Now, gentlemen, there's first, I'll start with this one because the report is heavy on taxation and the impact it's having. Now, this is the one of viewpoints they share with the government. This is what they say. Businesses are struggling to cope with the current fiscal landscape. 62% of respondents disclosed that the level of tax burden is suffocating businesses. Top 5 taxes businesses recommend to be reviewed are the E-levy, COVID-19 levy, import levies, petroleum levy, and growth and sustainability levy. For first half of the year, National Fiscal Stabilization Levy underperformed in terms of annual target by 56.7%. While COVID-19 health levy dropped by 17.8%. E-levy also missed its target by more than half in the period between January and June this year. The evidence shows that businesses and individuals are looking at government revising some of the tax policies. We believe that reducing tax rates or abolishing some taxes should come with a corresponding rise in aggregate spending, and as spending increases would ultimately positively impact tax revenues. Does anybody disagree with this?
Straight. It's clear.
Listen to the question.
Yeah.
Did you disagree?
Do you disagree?
Oh, no, I agree.
With the position right. Yes, I agree as well. Mm-hmm. And am I responding on him?
No.
Okay.
You can go ahead.
Right. So the evidence is there. We've seen tax revenues from the GRA being exceeded, and then on this side we've seen tax targets being underperforming. Right. So taxes, and because of time, I actually have the free SHS, taxes, and power. These are the 3 recommendations
the 3 things
I wanted to comment on and make policy
so
suggestions.
So they were the tax issue.
Yeah. So with taxes, what I'll say is, I think in tax law or economics, there is something we call the tax optimality theory.
Sure.
Okay. So the tax optimality theory seeks to suggest that there should be a certain optimal tax figures or values for which you are able to raise enough revenue and also discourage people from avoiding. Now, when you peg your tax figures too low, what it means is that you are risking the chances of not achieving your tax targets. And if you take it too high, what it means is that you are going to encourage people to go into tax avoidance and tax evasion. Now, obviously, taxes are becoming a burden on businesses right now. And I think we shouldn't even think of anything, whether it is the way to go or not. It's about time government has a proper review of taxes as we have it. The book has stated it clearly. I started by saying this is actually a state of the economy report by the people. And by the people, the taxes have become a burden. It is killing businesses. It is making people go out of business. And the more people go out of business, the more we have unemployment, the more we have households struggling. It tightens everything all around us. And for me, I think it's about the government, and if we are talking about input into the budget that is upcoming, we should looking at the taxes again and pursuing optimality over here to make sure that we are not overburdening people and we are getting enough. And to look at our expenditure side of things
Your
for
view on that?
time. Yeah.
Yes, I want to situate the context in the 5 major taxes they spoke about.
Yeah.
One was the COVID-19.
Yeah, COVID-19 levy.
Sena, all over the world, many countries are moving away from this COVID ramattas and looking at the reality.
Okay.
I'm not saying that COVID-19 never had an impact, a toll on the economy. It did. And any economist who will make any argument to the effect that COVID-19 did not affect us domestically, then you are not being fair to the reality on the ground. Okay. But we've gone beyond the impact of COVID now. So COVID-19 must be scrapped.
Okay.
If there's a way to rename, rebrand it, to reposition that tax component, that is fine.
Okay.
Now, they also talk about
the import levies.
Before that,
the e-levy.
The e-levy. From the very word go, I said, and I will repeat it everywhere, I said that, look, government must go the Uganda way.
Okay.
Yes, government must go learn how Uganda implemented their electronic transfer levy. How did they do it? Look, they started with a limited bit, the tax optimality theory. When you tax people more, they avoid and evade. Tax evasion can land them in jail. But tax avoidance, you can go scot-free. Nobody can do you FOCO. So when you bring a tax out, people know that if I evade the tax, it's criminal offense. I may land myself in jail. What if I avoid the tax? So when government brought the e-levy, because the tax net was so high, people started registering merchant number to avoid that particular tax component. Some of us said that, look, how did Uganda do it that and then they needed revenue?
Okay.
They started from 0.1% of any amount you send. So people didn't feel it from the start.
Okay.
Every quarter, they go back to parliament, increase it by another 0.1%. Before the people could say, they were paying around 1.3. And they didn't know. We told the government that, look, don't be too ambitious. And you see, when you are too hungry, do it with both hands. That's what the government did. There's a revenue shortfall. Let's create something and anticipate a higher returns. It didn't happen because the approach in yield levy was wrong. As a person, as an economist, I will not bastardize yield levy. My position was that they should have had a different approach in implementing yield levy.
Okay.
Don't start from 1 or 1.5%. Start from 0.2% of any money people send. They will not feel it. It will not have any impact on them. Every half yearly, go to parliament and review the particular act and let it go. By the time people could say that they may be paying even 2%, that it have even sunk with their body, they wouldn't know. Here I'm coming. Here is the case. You started from 1.5%. People fought it. People went to court. And anytime you are bringing a tax regime, and there's so much noise, so much confusion around it, naturally, you will not get the revenue you are anticipating. Okay. Because there's a controversy.
Yeah. Avoidance.
Money doesn't like noise. Money doesn't. So when you are bringing a tax regime, so much infighting, confusion, push and pull, court case, it softens the people's appetite to pay the money. Okay. The third element is the import element.
Yeah, the import levies.
Import levies. You see, it is a good policy to look at import substitution policy. The more you put on import levy, indirectly you are telling the local businessmen that, look, I'm placing an injunction on foreign goods produced at a cheaper rate. Sana, I have with me here the Ghana Statistical Service reports, and it talks about inflation for locally produced items and imported items.
Okay.
One reason gold. This is for the month of June 2023. Ghana Statistical Service. If you look at this report
for the month of May.
For the month of May, look at inflation for locally produced items was 36.2%. Inflation for imported items was 43.8%. What it means is that because we are putting on more import levies, it is making those items and the services expensive. So if you buy locally of this, let's say this pen, if somebody is importing, you are buying it 43.8% higher.
Okay.
If you buy from a local productive base, you are buying it at 36.2% higher. It means that there's a positive net gain of around a good percentage when you produce locally. So, for import levy, I will advocate for it.
Okay.
If you are a government and you want to seek to promote local industrialization, you must have a punishment for people who taste and prefer for foreign goods. Okay. In the same vein, you must also build the capacity of the local people. So you don't just put import levy to make items expensive, and on one breath, the local people who are supposed to produce the same item, they are not empowered. And what is the fourth item? There's a task sustainability.
Yes.
Now, this task element for me,
growth and sustainability.
It was a no-go. It's like eating your chick before you get the eggs. That's what that task was supposed to mean. You are dreaming that, today Sena will wear white attire. Let me go and buy palm oil. As soon as Sena gets ready, go pour the palm oil on your white attire. What if you wear black attire? That is what that task sought to do. It simply meant that we think you are going to be sustainable. So pay this tax even before you become sustainable. That tax for me is no go. So among all the 4-item tax component, I will go for import levy.
Okay.
It should be maintained. When you are maintaining
but should that also not be targeted and depend on what we are competitive at producing?
That is what I'm saying. That you don't just put up higher import levy and deny the local business community the capacity they need.
Because a lot of businesses are also talking about the taxes, the levies on even raw materials that they import for their...
So there are tax exemptions. Ghana government has a tax exemption regime. That there are some elements, if you are importing into agricultural value chain, you either pay limited tax on it or no tax. That can be looked at. But on the whole, from revenue base, and as somebody who believes in local people, I think that COVID-19 might be scrapped off or remodel. Sustainability,
growth and sustainability
must be looked at. Import levy must be maintained. That I stand by it. And my position is that it will help empower local people.
Okay.
But you must not just put it out for putting out sake without empowering the local people. Look for areas you can disaggregate.
But the question also is that is the timing also right? Look at what you currently you have put the economy in a situation where businesses are even doing interest rates.
Right.
He said the
policy rate
what you get is 37%.
Okay. Minimum.
If you're borrowing at 37%.
Then you are in heaven like
yes. And imagine inflation. The inflation. Even if you are buying material locally, look at the inflation that you're seeing. So it makes the businesses not so competitive.
It is that wisdom that informed the setting up of Exim Bank. Exim Bank was there to keep facility at a cheaper rate.
Okay.
Today, they have eaten everything the leftover of the NDC in the Exim Bank. You can't even find the bones. Under the NDC, you can find a little flesh and bones at Exim Bank. But when these people came, they've eaten everything. The point is that Exim Bank was there to give good facility to people. Especially, Exim Bank is for export and import.
Okay.
So if you have strengthened your Exim Bank as a government, whilst you put up import levy, they can still go for facility that is cheaper to still import. But here is the case that there hasn't been supposed to be a buffer zone for the business community. Import and exporters is being grounded. Today, they are not being honest. Go to Exim Bank and ask them. They don't have the liquidity. Most of the 1D, 1L company that they listed, they aligned them to Exim Bank. But go to Exim Bank today, they can't get you the money. It is simply because government is illiquid. If the money is not there, how do you give out the money?
Okay.
So my position is that if the next NDC government comes, let's look at Exim Bank.
Okay.
Let's keep import levy, but retool Exim Bank so that the same importers and exporters, even if import levy is there, they can have a cheaper source of money or borrowing to still import the things they want to import.
Albert, you want to say, Sena, the poultry industry, for example, is struggling. So it's becoming extremely difficult to generate revenue from that sector. So which means you can't rely on...
Do you know why they did that? Most of the businessmen who brought the MPP, they've been giving them licenses to import free of charge. La Bianca is a good case study.
In fact, Kennedy, Japan...
It's an example. So they will kill the poultry industry because of their businessmen who brought them to power. So if you're a poultry man or woman, you want a change in government, support the NDC.
As
It is
simple as
simple.
that. As simple as that. Yeah. Our time is gone, eh?
Yes, we have. Anyway, you go.
Yeah. So, in terms of the recommendations from the KPMG UNDP thing, I think what I wanted to say, which I didn't want to leave the studio without talking about, is a free SHS. Is a free SHS. So, the recommendation says government should allow for people or parents who are willing to pay to do co-payments. I think that recommendation is a bit substandard. And it's a bit substandard because it creates a problem that is going to be bigger than what we have right now. So when you say parents who should pay, that is like voluntary co-payment. That voluntary co-payment is going to come with a request. For those who are able to pay, they will say, okay, if I'm able to pay, then my son must go to Achimota. My son must go to Infante Pema Desadel and all the top schools. And for me, who is not able to pay, then my son will have to go to the lower schools. What are we going to have? We are going to have a class system. That class system is a bigger problem than what we have right now. So I think, and it looks like
the class system not always existed.
It always exists, but don't empower it. Okay, don't institutionalize it. Okay, now it looks like somebody came up with that suggestion, and everybody else started making that comment.
Okay, so this is what we'll do. I think we have to do this somehow. Find a way to do this again before the budget.
Okay.
We have to go. I was borrowing time because I was asked to do so.
We've now 10 a.m. already.
Now the indication is that I have to close. So a big thank you to you, Bernard Oduro. He's a certified economist, member of the NDC. A big thank you to David Zekpah, who is an advocate for responsible democratic governance. I am Sena Nombo. We are back same time tomorrow with another edition of the Gold Morning Conversation. Ochami Bajumba is up next with the Mid-Morning Show.
One station. Accra 2022, 23, 24 and more.